Every time I hire somebody, I'm giving them a test. They don't know it's a test. Most of them never know that they had a test. And sadly enough, not many of them pass the test. Now, this test, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, is also one that's really important for me when I'm hiring salespeople and sales managers. And when I look back at my career, if I look at the percentage of salespeople and sales managers that I've hired that have passed the test versus failed the test, it is a severe disappointment to me. Now, what is this test, you may ask? And do I have to worry about it? What kind of test might I be failing that I don't know about? Well, in my eyes, the first test that I give you if I'm going to hire you is actually when I make the job offer. So, what do I mean by the job offer is the first test? Well, the thing is a job offer is a starting point. It's a discussion. It's the beginning of a new relationship. But people are often very hesitant to actually have any negotiation in the process. They're thankful to have a job. In fact, many times I've heard people say, well, I didn't want to negotiate anything because I didn't want to screw up the deal. Well, let's talk about that. When I look back at the salespeople and the sales managers that I've hired, I'm hiring you to sell something, or I'm hiring you to train and lead people to sell something. And if right out of the bat you can't even sell yourself, that tells me something. And it makes me wonder about your abilities. Now, that doesn't mean that these people are always going to fail in their positions or they're not going to make it up to me over time in terms of proving what they can do as sales professionals. But it does leave a lingering memory that I can't ever quite seem to let go. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when I have had to hire people and I've said, look, I'm giving you the best deal I possibly can. You know, the salary range is X to X. You are already here. I can't go past it. So there are times when I have said, I have nothing else that I can give you. Here's everything. When you're really trying to get somebody that you know is vital to your team, but they have been earning or receiving more between benefits and other opportunities in their other job, and you need them where they are. And so there's been times that I've had to make those questions. I had to put that statement out there. But the real key here, and the surprising piece that most people don't realize with me, is that unless I say those things, unless there are parameters that I have to work within, and that happens, I am never, ever giving you my best offer the first time around. So, this whole concept of, this offer, I've got the offer and I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to ask for anything else because what if they get mad and they don't hire me? Well, for the most part, that does not happen. Now, can it happen? Yes. I mean, if you're a jerk about it, you make unrealistic, crazy demands. If you are aggressive in your negotiations, then yeah, you probably could screw up an opportunity. But most people aren't going to operate that way. And when you take a deep breath and you step back, you go, wait, is there an opportunity for me here to get something more that I want? And if so, how do I do it? So I'm going to share with you kind of my top tips for how to negotiate for yourself better and do it in a way where you're not so afraid, but that you actually make it a really very respectful negotiation both ways. And you prove that you know your worth and you know your value before you even begin day one. Okay, so what are my main tips? Okay, number one, and you've heard this from me in so many segments, you're probably tired of hearing me say it, but there's a reason I keep saying it. Just breathe. Just breathe for a few minutes. When you get that offer, you're usually so excited that sometimes the first thing you want to do is say, yes, I'll take it. But that breathing gives you space in your head. It allows you to just sit back for a moment and say, okay, I'm so thankful to have a job, but now it's time to really show what I bring to the table. So let's say that author comes in by the phone. So the person calls you and says, "Hey, Michael, we love you. You passed every interview we had. You're going to be a great addition to the team. We want to hire you. We're going to hire you at X amount of dollars. You're going to have these benefits. And right now, I'm sending you the offer letter. So what do you say?" And that's, one of those moments where it might be your dream job. It's exactly everything you want. And your first reaction, because you don't want it to slip through your fingers, is yes, yes, I'll take it. When you slow down enough to just breathe, you'll realize I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the offer letter yet. Those things are coming. I don't want to screw this up. But I do want to make sure that I don't say yes to something yet that maybe I still need to negotiate a little bit. So in that moment where you breathe, it's a great time to just sit back and go, I am so excited, John. Thank you so much for having such faith in me. I have enjoyed every part of the process, and I can't wait to take a look at the offer letter. I'll tell you what, I will take a look at it as soon as we get off the phone. I will review it, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Then you have to breathe because you're like, oh my gosh, I just told him, wait a minute, I got to review it. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Any good manager, any good company owner, any good leader is going to want to know that you take time to review things. Because number one, if you just jump right away, where are you going to jump right away in other parts of the business that maybe that's not appropriate? Or maybe you have to sit back and contemplate or look at other options or take in other feedback. It doesn't have to be sales. It's just about how you do your job no matter what it is. And that moment to breathe allows you to have the clarity to say, I don't have to say yes right now, but I can say positive things that let them know I'm absolutely interested. So you remember I said, thank you, John. I am so honored. I have enjoyed every part of this process. I am so excited about all the opportunity with your company. And as soon as we get off the phone, I will review the offer letter and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. You're not saying today, you're not saying in an hour, you're not saying in 24 hours. As quickly as possible. Now, why do I say that? Because you don't know how many things on that offer letter you may or may not want to negotiate. So not giving yourself a timeline allows you a little bit of a buffer. Because you don't want to be doing that. See, when you're saying yes, you don't want to be going, I would As we take the deep breaths, we get our mind and our mouth in the same path. So, and John may say, no problem. I think you should take a time to review it. Do you think you'll be back to me by tomorrow? Now, he's putting a timeline on you. And it's okay to say, I promise you, I will get back to you with any questions or feedback no later than tomorrow at noon or whatever. You can give some more specific times. But you still don't want to say, yes, I'll absolutely get back to you with a yes or a no. You want to give yourself a little bit of time to figure out what are the pieces here that you may need to talk about or negotiate. And so if you see what I've done here by that breathe, is that you are automatically not saying yes right away. And it's not an insult to the company that's hiring you. It actually shows that you are thoughtful, that you prefer to review, and that you want to take your time. And it shows that you value yourself. So once you've breathed and you've had that moment where you just relaxed and you didn't accept right away, the second element is to decide, even before you open up that offer letter, what's important to you. Now, one of the assignments I'm going to give you at the end of this is to know what's important to you before you even go in there. But let's say you're watching this right now and the phone is ringing and it's somebody to offer you that job that you've been waiting for. When you review the offer letter, it's important to say, what is important to me? And to be very clear about what's important to you, and to be clear about what's critical and what's just a want. Taking this time to really review what's important to you will help you to be clear about what you will accept and what you can and should negotiate, what you can and may or may not be able to negotiate, and that's important too, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's about understanding that there are many facets to every job. Some things you're going to love, some things you're not, some things you can live with, some things you look back and say, why did I accept that? This moment of clarity, this time to just separate a little bit, allows you that peace to say, okay, now my wish list is this long, my must-have list is this long, my want list is this long. Where am I going to end up? And how do I get from here to there? So in this third element where you're writing it down, you want to make sure that you're very clear and you organize your list before you respond in terms of what's absolutely critical, what is very important, what's a want, and what you're willing to live without.